Hey, how are you? June, complex post-traumatic stress awareness month. So I'm going to continue doing another video on things you can do to help yourself, attitudes you can employ to help yourself. Um, Rather than talk about the symptoms, as awful as they are, it's a horrendous condition to live with. I did that. I actually denied I had it for 4 years, and in total it took me another 2 years to beat it, but not going at it for 2 years. So continuing on with this is kind of a mindset thing again, I guess. The first thing to do is accept that you have the condition, either post-traumatic or complex post-traumatic stress. The two can and do go hand in hand as well. Just to make things even better for people. Accept that you have it. Okay, there's no shame in it. If you're experiencing those symptoms, those responses, then you're experiencing them. Okay, accepting it is the first step. Go for help. Go and see if you can get a diagnosis. You won't necessarily need one to go and start working with a coach or a therapist privately. You can go for help from your mental health provider locally, whatever that is. Go for help. Own the condition, which is different from accepting it. Okay, you have to own it. None of us asked to develop either post or complex post-traumatic stress. No one wanted this. No one knew it was going to happen. Many people still to this day don't even know it's a thing. But you have to own it. You didn't ask to develop the condition. You didn't ask for the thing or things or the period of time that led you to develop the condition. Nobody did. But the only way that you're going to work towards initially managing it and then eventually beating it is by owning it. Okay? You didn't ask for it. It's within your mind, body and system. It now is yours to own, because at the moment it is owning you. It is controlling you. Okay? It is in charge of your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your memories, your behaviors. And it wrecks your life, basically. It makes life a living hell. It is really, really unpleasant to live with. I know this. Once you have gone for help with a coach or a therapist, you must put the work in. I keep driving this point home and have done for 5.5 years on Facebook, because I learned the hard way what happens when you don't. Don't treat the therapist or the coach as someone who is going to fix you. That's not how it works. They are helping you, they are coaching you, they are training you, they are guiding you. You are doing the work. They'll be with you during the sessions every step of the way. Outside of the session, it's on you. You may be able to go to them for some advice in between sessions, but the onus is on you to put the work in. All right? And if you do anything else, it isn't going to work. Trust me. I learned the very, very hard way. Okay? So you're putting the work in. View it as you are experiencing post-traumatic or complex post-traumatic stress, rather than I am suffering from. Once again, like not viewing it as a disorder but a known set of responses, it doesn't change how it's affecting you. What it does change is how you view it. If you're experiencing something, you're kind of level with the condition. If you're suffering from something, you're putting power within that condition. Okay? It doesn't change how it actually affects you. It just changes your mindset a little bit further. All right? When you start working with the coach, if you've never come across the stuff before, they will be encouraging you to do all the good things I spoke about in some of the previous videos, getting your alcohol or prescription meds or street narcotics under control or eradicated. You shouldn't do street narcotics anyway. Getting your diet sorted, making sure you're hydrated properly, you're meditating, relaxation, breathing, mindfulness, grounding, doing your exercise. They'll be encouraging you to start doing those things from your very first session. They will also, as sessions go on, be giving you homework to do. This type of coaching or therapy is really intense. Okay, there's no set time period. There's no set time period for how long it takes. It depends on the individual. Even when you're putting the full amount of work in, and remember, there will be times where you have to take your foot off the gas a bit because it is pretty intense. There's no set time period. It's not a case of a coach or a therapist will say, well, I'm going to fix you in 2 sessions or 3 sessions. It will take as long as it takes. And it does depend on the complexity of it. Okay? How much it's affected you, how long you've been living with the trauma responses. It just depends. View it as you're in for an ultra marathon, particularly with complex post-traumatic stress. It's not a sprint, okay? It's a journey that at times will be tough when you're working with the therapist, but they will guide you through that, and then towards the end of the session they will bring you back down to a much more measured and comfortable state. At times it will be fun, at times it will be emotional. You'll discover things about yourself that you didn't know, because not only are you looking to completely recover from trauma, i.e. eradicate the responses from whatever situation or situations happened in the past, you're becoming a stronger, better version of yourself. It doesn't mean the previous version of you was weak. You've most likely endured something that other people wouldn't have been able to. Okay? So, but you're looking towards being completely trauma recovered. That is what I would encourage people to be using as their end goal. Many people, they want to learn to control, manage or cope with their symptoms, which in the early and mid stages is a great milestone to have. It's a brilliant one to be aiming for. As I say, it's quite a long journey, the whole process. Stopping at that point, which many people do, thinking, well, I've learned to manage and control or cope with my symptoms now. You have not beaten the trauma. If you're controlling, managing, coping with symptoms, you are still traumatized. I myself, given that I denied it for 4 years, had a half-hearted attempt at beating it, was deluded into thinking during 2020 that I had actually beaten it, until it came back, and it was never gone. Looking back now, I can see there were all sorts of situations that from me were actual trauma responses. Looking at it now, why would someone want to remain in that space? And some people do that for years. Some people do that for the rest of their lives. My point is, you can become trauma-free if you believe it, and if you put the right amount of work in with the right coach, the right therapist, using the right methods. It absolutely can be done. If I can do it, then anybody can do it. And the situation that led to my complex trauma was ongoing for 18 years before the trauma made itself known. Okay? Now, if you have a half-hearted attempt at therapy or coaching, and most people do, you will view the therapist or the coach as being able to fix you. We've all done it. We've all done it. And I was warned by a very learned friend of mine, trauma recovered, who'd made the mistakes, not to do that. I told him I wasn't, but I was doing exactly that. You will make those mistakes, and my ADHD mind has completely lost my train of thought, but I'm going out to watch the rugby in a minute, so this is the last one I'm going to record today. You will make those mistakes, okay? Just go again. Just go back, maybe with a different coach or a different therapist, or go back to the first one and then that time fully commit. It's very common for people to take more than one attempt to beat this stuff. It is a long game to beat something like complex trauma and post-traumatic stress. They're nasty, nasty conditions. Okay. One of the things a coach or therapist will teach you to do is to separate the trauma responses from the events that led to those responses. And you may be looking at me droning on here going, well, how is that possible? They will show you how to do that. Okay, it's not something I can just tell you that you can do. and that you'll be able to do it. You can do it. You learn to separate the situations, the events, whatever they were, from your trauma responses. So your nightmares, your night sweats, night terrors, the self-medicating, the dissociating, the feelings of being helpless, hopeless, completely lost, worthless, possibly suicidal, self-harming, self-medicating, whatever, hypervigilant, anxious, depressed, grief-stricken, angry, all of the things and many more. Those are symptoms of what you went through. They are not what you went through. You can learn to separate them off. And many coaches don't actually necessarily need to know what went on in order to be able to deal with the responses and you yourself at a deeper level, which will deal with those events. And once you get to a point of being trauma recovered, depending on how you choose to sort things in your mind, you may be able to talk about those events with no ill effect on yourself. You may be able to talk about those events as I do now, and at a large portion of them, laugh at them. Okay? This is not laughing at people who are traumatized. This is me laughing at the situations, as he bites his tongue, that at the time my mind, body and system found traumatic enough to store up, and then over 18 years then deposit in me in a big steaming shitty mess of complex trauma 2 months after a period of relative calm. I can laugh at those situations now. I can even laugh at my time during the traumatized years, as suicidal as I was. There are elements in there that I can have a laugh about. You can get to that point, but you need to be trauma recovered. Other things you can do is look at the stories of people themselves who have been on a similar recovery journey to you, whilst you're going through yours, or even before you start working with a coach. Look at people who are recovered themselves. What did they do? What learnings did they have? What mistakes did they make on their journeys? If you are traumatized, I would suggest that you avoid looking at stories of people who are traumatized themselves, talking about their symptoms. It may give you some form of connection, although you don't know who that person is. However, my suggestion is that you already know how your responses affect you. Okay? Look at the people who are recovered, and then once you're recovered, you can start looking at the stories of people who are talking about their experiences. You'll be able to relate to those. It's very common when people go on a recovery journey and get to that point of recovery that they themselves, as I did, want to go on and help other people. Okay? Maybe on a professional level, maybe on an amateur level, maybe just as someone who helps people face to face for you're not charging. But it's very common to do that, especially when you've been through something like this. You understand it implicitly. You understand what other people's experiences are like, which are very similar to yours, even though the events that led them to that point can be completely different. You can get to the point of being trauma recovered. Accept it. Reach out for help. Own it. Think of it not as a disorder. Think of it as a set of responses. That's what it is. It's not lifelong if you put the work in. And it can be beaten if you put the work in. I nearly forgot that one. But as I say, I'm not doing another one. If you're struggling, you must reach out. You're not on your own. There are people who do understand, and you, when you are traumatized, you will feel that no one is out there is going to get it. No one. Okay? Everyone's situations that led to the point of being traumatized are different. People will listen. They may be able to empathize even though they've never been in a situation like that themselves. The responses themselves, people like myself, we understand them. We understand all of them because we lived through those. So there are people out here that understand. You must reach out. You're not on your own. You can like, you can follow, you can add me as a friend on Facebook if you like. I'm also popping up on Instagram now, YouTube now, TikTok now. So you can follow, you can like, you can comment, you can share, whatever. Okay, the most important thing is people are not on their own. There is hope, and you can get to a point of being recovered. That's it. I'm off to watch some rugby. Have a good day. See you later.